Well, I hope you enjoyed that exciting opening montage, because I'm here in Girona in Catalonia, having been invited by the lovely folks at Cannondale to do a first ride on their brand new bike, the Cannondale SuperSix EVO Generation 4. Now, there's been a lot of chat, a lot of hype about this bike, so I'm intrigued to see what all the fuss is about. Now, before I go for a spin on this rather lovely looking bike, I need to learn a little bit more about it. I've got Sam here from Cannondale to kindly talk us through the SuperSix EVO Gen 4 and what sets it apart from previous iterations.
Sure.
So what's different about this?
I would say the three areas to dig in most in answering that question would be its aerodynamic performance, its weight, and then how we've packaged that all, from aesthetics to user experience and frame features.
It's the bit that everybody wants to know about. How much quicker is this bike then?
So setup dependent, right? But we've tested this bike in a size 56 against its predecessor, and it shaves somewhere in the ballpark of 12 watts off at 45 kilometers per hour.
Okay.
So the thing's quite a demon, bridging the gap between System 6 and Evo 3 by over half of the delta. You've taken grams out of every single modulus, so whether it be Lab 71, which is tipping the scales at 770 grams for a painted size 56, all bonded hardware, no monkey business, just full tilt, ready to go frame, to an only 5% increase to high mod, coming in at 810 grams painted. So
the seat tube, that's a lot narrower, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You've still got the asymmetric stays at the back, and the lovely little leaf spring to give a little bit of give as well.
Yeah, we had to increase the depth of the seat post to increase the aerodynamic performance. So we had to move the comfort somewhere else. So you can see it further down in the seat tube itself, and you get that little leaf spring. We've learned a lot about drop seat stays since System 6, and of course with Topstone and Kingpin, we're really masters of squeezing comfort out of this configuration and architecture.
One of the things that I like about the look of the front end, all these beautifully smooth, organic looking leading edges, and you've got a narrower bar profile, but also the forks are beautiful. They're a bit wider as well, aren't they? There is a kind of very, very organic look to the front end of the bike.
Sure. Airflow is essential to all of these bikes, and historically people tried to reduce voids and free space and really capture any turbulence and push it over the bike. We've learned through many iterations and through the mastery that comes with System 6's performance that actually providing space for the air to go through can be another solution to reducing drag across the system. Whenever we set out on a new development, we take a very holistic approach. This includes color, material, and finish. We knew the seat post had to get thinner in addition to a longer cord length, which meant that we couldn't put a battery in it anymore. But we said, hey, let's remove it to the down tube like we've wanted to anyway, and that will ensure a couple of things. No more sheared wires, no more dropping a wire or your battery down the seat tube.
Done that a few times.
Carbon paste all over your fingers is the worst. So we're able to keep E-tube lengths and EPS wire lengths the same across every size Evo.
The look of the bike is massively important to Cannondale as well. So the aesthetics, the appeal, the luster of the bike, there's a lot of thought that's gone into that, right away from the cockpit onto the top tube as well.
There is a lot of monotony in the Pro Tour right now. You can't really beat physics, right? And there's only certain shapes.
I've tried.
We've all tried, right? But the laws of physics state that certain things need to look this way to be a lightweight structure or an aerodynamic structure. So there's quite a bit of confinement in making these bikes look different from each other, but also that we were going to need some help from some new friends, and that's when we reached out to MOMODesign. So they're a sister department or brand of Momo Automotive, famous for their steering wheels and rims, and we said, all right, these guys, guys and gals, imbue so much luxury into things that are just undeniably high performance. So that's road racing, right? That's road racing. We worked with them to produce the SystemBar R-One, which is our highest performance, lowest weight bar we've ever produced. And it looks really badass, particularly on this model. It has a raw forged carbon motif in the top of the bar. And that is exposed carbon. That's not a graphic. That is really what's underneath the clear coat here, and it matches and lines up perfectly with the strip down the top tube of the High Mod 1 frame.
Before I finally take this out for a spin, just talk us through the bottle cage situation.
The bottle cages are perhaps the best visual indicator of a large part of this bike's ethos, which is in an age where everything is becoming more proprietary, the Cannondale thing to do, or the radical thing to do, is actually just to do something that's easy.
Yeah.
The bottle cages are the Regrip Aero bottle cage and the Gripper Aero bottle. These are most certainly aero bottles, shaving in the ballpark of 2 to 3 watts off at 45 kilometers an hour, so quite a bit of drag reduction.
Yep.
They're not really actually like other aero bottles, and what I mean when I say that is they're easy to use. They use a standard fabric bottle top. The cage accepts a round bottle because we know there's going to be those days where you need insulation, more volume, get a hand up. You know, maybe you need to go out and get a jar of ragu. You know, I don't know if that actually fits. That might not be compatible.
We could give it a try.
We could. All right, we'll do that. Yeah.
Let's do that. There's lots to soak up there.
Sure.
It's been fascinating.
Yeah.
I think I've learned a lot more about this bike, but the litmus test is taking it out for a spin. So I'm going to have
Absolutely.
to leave you.
Yeah,
leave you
that's
to
fine.
Your strange little coffee.
My beaker of espresso.
Beaker of coffee. I'm loaded up on caffeine.
Yeah.
I'm off for a ride.
All right.
Well, having learned a lot about this new bike, it would be rude not to take it out for a spin. And my first impressions, having ridden out of Girona, heading towards the climbs, heading towards Rocacorba, is that obviously it's a thoroughbred. It's built with racing in mind, speed, agility. But fundamentally, the first thing that I felt was that it's a very, very comfortable ride. Not a lot of road noise, out the saddle, in the saddle. It's just an absolute breeze, which I need at my age. Although this bike is very comfy, also feels aggressive as well, and it wants to go. So when you pick up speed on the flat, you really get a sense that this bike is built to go fast. Although I've not got the biggest kick in the world, when you do put some power through the bike, it just goes. There's utterly zero lag, real crisp acceleration, and it just propels you forward. And one thing that I'm enjoying about this bike, just by using the word enjoyment, is I'm having fun. It's clearly built for racing, it's built for speed, it's built for performance, but I think anybody can have a lot of fun on this bike. And many of you would have already seen this bike have multiple successes underneath riders from EF Education, Easy Post, Esteban Chavez, Magnus Cort Nielsen, Richard Carapaz have already early in the season got multiple victories. Now the pros at EF Education Easy Post are using the Lab 71 model, which is the top of the range. This is the High Mod 1. Pretty much the same aerodynamically and from a performance perspective, but the pro version is 40 grams lighter. And Cannondale wanted this bike to be better at everything, the top of its game. And I've already tested this bike on some pretty fast sections of road, done a few sprints. I've also tested it on gravel as well. And that's what this bike needs to do. It needs to perform at the highest level of our sport across multiple terrains. And if you look at the amount of clearance we've got on the forks here as well, we've put pretty wide tyres near 34mm tyres safely if you wanted to take it on some pretty gnarly terrain. Now I couldn't really come to Girona without taking this bike up one of the most iconic climbs in the area, Rocacorba. Now, if I play my cards right, I reckon I could get maybe in the top 10,000 of all time. Let's do this. On the lowest slopes of the climb here, and it does feel I'm on a really lightweight climbing bike. I've managed to engineer something very special here, but when you get out of the saddle, you want to give it a little bit of a nudge. Instantly responds and just goes. So the performance on the climbs appears to me to match what it can do on the descents and on the flat as well. It's really quite impressive. In fact, for the last couple of Ks, I've not really thought about the bike at all. I've just thought about my effort. I really do feel super dialed, and I've only ridden this bike for a couple of hours. That's the iconic Rocacorba climb. We get to the top and you get views like this. Wonderful stuff. It's bike riding at its purest. Well, my short tenure in Girona is done and dusted. The bike was absolutely banging. I had a great time, but it's time to go. Yeah, I thought I'd say I was a little bit kind of disappointed that I couldn't stay a few more days or even take the bike back with me. So it's left a little bit of a sour taste, but you know, it'd be fine. Honestly, it'd be fine.